Folks, most of you know Jake Mahalko. He is our service manager at the Pleasant View location, and he is also a spec guy. So when I need somebody that can bark out specifications on a machine, he's like a sponge. He gets it. So Coyote makes the HX series, and a lot of you haven't seen it, and some of you have. The HX 9010 and 1151. One is 90 horsepower, one is 115. And then recently, Coyote introduced another HX series. It's not really its own series, but it is a higher horsepower. They give it 130 and 140, and it has some more stuff on it. Mostly comfort, convenience, bells and whistles, operational, make you out there 12 hours a day a little bit more comfortable. So I kind of wanted Jake to breeze through the the 90 and 115 horsepower, and then we'll take a look at the 130 and 140 and show you some differences. So Jake, I'll move the camera around as you go, and Jake, like I said, he's a spec guy.
All right, folks, let's dive into it. Like Mike said, this comes in a 90 horse model and a 115 horsepower model. On this specific HX, they do have a feature to also boost the power. You could take your 90 close to 100, and you could take your 115 close to 125 for that extra power. For those long work days, Coyote has given you a 47.5 gallon fuel tank. Also has a new redesigned loader. The 90 and the 115 do come with a KL 1155. Rear hitch capacity is just over 8,000 pounds, of course, category 2 hookups. And if we stroll on over to the rear, we do have a bump feature, help you spin that PTO shaft over for when you're trying to hook implements up. You do have the adjustment for your 3-point, because now it is electronic. Comes factory with 3 remotes, optional 4th, your 7-pin for any trailers, your normal pin style check chains.
I think it's worth pointing out the bump feature. Anybody that's ever hooked up a PTO of any size, especially on a big tractor, knows it sometimes takes 2 men and a boys. Sometimes you have to physically spin the PTO output shaft by hand, which figure grease and everything else, that's always fun. So it bumps it like one spline at a time, and that takes the battle away. The battle's won. And the same goes for the electronic up and down when you're trying to hook stuff up. That's just cool as all get out, in my opinion. Both sides, by the way, I think it's odd, but they have the controls on both sides.
You never know where you're going to be.
The windows all open, don't they?
They do.
They do.
So
even the corner B-pillar window.
Yes, and even with the B-pillar window, it is actually only on the quote-unquote driver's side. The passenger side is a single piece of glass to enhance visibility. You do not have a B-pillar on the passenger side.
Sure, boy, you're right, but it's got one massive door, doesn't it? That's cool.
And don't freak out. If you break it, it's not that expensive.
And so that would be for visibility. I can see that. What do these things weigh?
I believe this unit is just over 10,000 pounds, and that is without the loader. Putting this loader on
13
gives you about another 3,000 pounds. You're looking at about a 13,000 pound unit. And speaking of the loader as well, no more loader braces if you're wanting to leave your loader up in the air. As you can tell, we've had it up this entire time, and we're not worried about it because Coyote has installed a shutoff valve for your lift cylinder. So as long as this is down, flow cannot go back to the tractor.
It physically cannot come down.
It cannot whatsoever. You're perfectly safe to walk underneath this. You can leave it up for a week and it's not going anywhere.
So if you're servicing, changing your oil, doing whatever, that's cool, because up till now you've always had to cut angle iron pieces and put them under the pistons. Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
I see a high lift stacked exhaust, which is a good idea on a tractor this size. Steps on both sides, stirrups on both sides.
Yep.
Can you get in on this side? Is it?
Absolutely. You can. I'm not exactly a big fellow, I'm an average fellow, but you still have plenty of room to get in through the console and by the joystick.
Yeah.
Ideally, no, but as you can see, I just bumped the joystick getting in here. There is a lock on here to where if you're doing something with the loader, if you're out in the field, you can lock it. You can't bump it, nothing's going anywhere.
So getting in on either side, because inevitably you're going to park, you know, half of it's going to be on a puddle and half not, you know.
It happens.
Okay, filtered air, I see that. It's got replaceable paper filters.
We do have that, recirc or drawing in fresh from the outside. Got a sun visor. You also have a pop-up window if you want to draw some fresh air in from above. Like you mentioned already, the quarter glass does open on this side. This is one massive piece of glass though to increase that visibility.
That joystick looks pretty cool.
Joystick already comes pre-wired for third function if you opt for one.
Correct.
It's already here. You have your horn right on the joystick, and you also have your high and low selector for your speed there. Even with the high and low selector, depending on how you're driving or how you're working, there's a few different ways to change it. You could either do it on the joystick, the gear selector itself, or if you want to be comfort and sit back, you could even do it right here on the console. Okay. There's an up and down button. You can pick your high or low speed in addition to your gear and your range and everything else. So
what else is on that ARM console?
So on this ARM console, you also have your throttle. So once you start going, if you want to rev up and drive from the console, you could drive from the console. Rev it up, get going. If you want to slow down, you can pull it back and, you know, clutch in and come to a stop. Or because it is a power stroke, you just pull it into neutral. You do have your draft selector here and your position selector for your 3-point.
Because you said it was electronic now.
Yes, sir.
So
absolutely.
it's all fly-by-wire. So yeah, they put it right there. That's cool.
Why not?
No lever, just a simple switch.
Yep. They've definitely simplified things and made it more ergonomical, and at the same time giving you some options depending on how you want to work. Inside the console,
What do you got back there?
we've got all the controls for your 3-point. There's a few different knobs to do different settings. There's an upper limit switch, a lower limit switch, a speed switch for lowering it. If you want to bring something down a little softer, you can adjust that down so it doesn't go down so quickly. You do also have an adjustment knob, which is your automatic PTO position knob. So if you're running implements on the rear and you have your PTO option in automatic instead of manual, like you want it to turn off whenever you raise your 3-point, you can actually pick the position at which point you would like it to turn back on once you start coming in contact with the ground.
Cool. So it's programmable and repeatable. If you're doing row work, you get the same result every time.
Every time. There's no more guesswork or anything, and there's one little button in here too. As Mike mentioned earlier, there's that lovely bump button out there. There's actually, it's kind of a safety and a function thing. You can actually turn on the feature here, and then you can use it externally. Without having this on, it won't work from the outside, so nobody can just come up and mess with your stuff.
Makes sense.
And then we've got, you know, your rest of your creature comforts.
Whoa, what is that?
You got your buddy seat.
Yeah, man.
Everybody likes a passenger at a big hunky tractor. You do have your air ride seat. You do have it to where the chair can swivel, which makes good of two uses. One, exiting the unit, or two, if you're doing a lot of looking behind you.
Which everybody does.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
It's really a neck saver. I know I've got a small tractor, and watching behind you for half a day is not easy on the neck.
And it's air suspension.
It's air suspension,
Cool.
Slides forwards and backwards. There is a lumbar support adjustment on the back of the seat. It does have a physical hand parking brake, no little knob on the floor to just hold the brake. It has a hand brake.
And the console, the steering console, is tilt and telescopic. I read that.
Yep. You got your tilt here, and so you don't have to hug the steering wheel. You can bring it to you a little bit.
You know, these things are intended to be used 12 hours a day. I mean, you've got to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
If you're cutting hay, man, you're out there till the hay's done.
Sure are. Doesn't roll itself.
Well, that's yeah, no, that's right. So that's kind of the 90 horsepower and the 115. Let's move over to the HX 130 horsepower. We got one right here, and what applies here to the 130 also applies to the 140. This is a HX 1302. The 13 is 130 horsepower. So I'm going to stop a minute. We're going to get the camera set up a little bit differently and come right back. All right, HX 1302, everything he tells you about the 1302 applies to the 1402. This is another version of the HX, and as I said, it's the same frame, same engine, you know, that's all kind of the same. There's just more stuff. And I also noticed, are these tires bigger?
They are bigger.
Yeah, it looked like it's good.
I don't remember the exact tire size offhand, but even just standing next to them, those ones are about 5 feet tall. These ones are pushing 6.
Yeah, 460/85R38, the R being radial. And the radial tires, I noticed the disc is cast iron.
They are.
So it eliminates the additional weights that one would put on it that's already there.
They do. They do come with weighted wheels. I don't like changing them.
All right, what else?
So some of the clear differences, aside from larger tires, more horsepower, this does come with a heavier loader. This has a KL 1402 loader, greater lift capacity, same bucket size, same safety shutoff. So this whole time this thing's been up, we haven't had a worry in the world about walking under it because it's not going anywhere. The exterior of this one does have upgraded lighting. All of your work lamps, top of the cab, front, rear, headlights, everything is full LED. We had them on earlier with the lights off in here, and they are bright.
They look like this.
Because we've got some added horsepower, we do have some added fuel capacity. We went from about 48 gallons on this one to just over 60 on this one.
No kidding.
So you got plenty of fuel to go do what you gotta do.
Okay, all right, Jake and I kind of cheated. We went and looked at the owner's manual, and it does allow you to monitor fuel consumption. It has an eco mode that you actually, when in eco mode, it has 3 different series of lights that tell you what you're burning, about 1 gallon an hour, about 2 gallons an hour, about 4 gallons an hour, depending on, clearly, the load that you're putting on the tractor. But it allows you to try to be as efficient as you can.
And it gives you a way to monitor it.
And I mentioned owner's manual. Folks, you can go right to coyote.com/owner's manual, and you could look at it. You know, look at the owner's manual on this thing. It's 300 and something pages, but it's awesome. You learn a lot doing that, and it's right online.
You sure do. Owner's manuals are greatly underestimated. As we're walking around here, we already talked about the fuel tank. Oh, something small I forgot to mention about the other one, and it's on both of them. Your mirrors on the tractor do have wide angles on the bottom, which if you're pulling a hay wagon or anything big down the road, definitely good for visibility.
Cool.
If we come over to the rear,
is this the same?
Similar. We still have the same bump feature, same position. Big differences.
Yeah.
Big thing that jumps out to me right away is your valve setup. So it's more in a vertical stack from left to right. Really nice to not get hoses tangled up. There is still an optional 4th. Another thing that they've integrated is these little caps and catches. Everybody knows whenever you go to remove a hydraulic line from the rear of the tractor, you get some dribble. This is to help minimize your dribble. If we follow these lines all the way down, it comes down here into a little catch can. You can save all your dribbles.
Reclamation tank.
And while we're checking out this tank,
Whoa.
Check out the strut. You have now a suspension cab.
Full suspension.
For those of you who didn't watch our video of what this thing will do in the field, I had the opportunity to take this thing down the road and run it at whatever it would let me run it at, which I got close to 30 miles an hour. Smooth as could be with these big knobby tires on it. I wouldn't mind running this thing back and forth between farms all day. I'd have no worry about getting beat up whatsoever.
Looks like the stabilizer is different.
They are. They went away from your typical pin style check chain to something a little bit more robust and something a little easier to use. A couple additional steps to get there, but I like it. You have a flip up pin with an R clip that locks it in place, and when you want to adjust it,
Okay.
you just turn it in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you get
Even
your-
with gloves on, I mean, that looks fantastic.
Once you get your hole lined up, you drop your pin back in. Realistically, I know whenever you get it, everybody's going to throw away this R clip. But you pop your R clip back in there.
I like that.
It is greasable, so you don't have to worry about it seizing up or anything.
Rear lift capacity on this is 8,500 pounds. The 90 and 115 horsepower is 8,002 pounds. And folks, there clearly is no difference. I don't know anything that weighs 8,000 pounds that I need to lift. I don't know that there's anything, there's not an implement out there that weighs 8,000 pounds, but you know what? It'll do it. 8,500 on this one.
It sure would. You got a couple extra inputs on the back here. One thing I forgot to mention about the 115 and the 90 is that pump is putting out about 32 GPM, which is pretty good. This one, however, they don't advertise it as high flow, but it's putting out about 44 gallons per minute. That is a lot of gallons per minute.
Yeah, that's
You have a free-flowing return to the tank if you need to run anything heavy, so you don't have to worry about having one plumbed later or having a shop do it. It's here. It's ready to.
a massive output, gallons per minute. I mean, there again, it's more than anything I can think of requires. The whether it's the loader or the wings of a flex wing,
Nope.
you know, that's just a bunch.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, it is.
We pulled that 20-foot cutter, Ironcraft's 3520,
Which we have in stock.
and zero problems getting that thing to
Yeah,
adjust
this is
via
absolutely
hydraulics.
the
And
right
it's a 5,000-pound cutter,
Yeah.
and
20 feet at a time.
didn't know it was even there.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
And then you want to go inside?
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
inside. Let's check out what we got inside.
Jake, I'm going to come around to the other side.
All right. All right, so just like the other one, you got the same tilt and telescoping steering wheel with console. I do like with these, and I haven't seen it on all machines, but I have seen some machines that when you have a telescoping steering wheel, it doesn't bring the console with it. This one does. I like it. As you can see, I am visually impaired. I like being able to see. You got your buddy seat, still hand parking brake, so you know this thing's not going anywhere. Same high and low ability on the joystick, along with pre-wiring for your third function. Same hand controls over here. You have throttle, high-low, your 3-point position, your draft position.
Heated seat.
Heated seat.
By the time folks, by the time I put the video out, I'm going to look and see if the other one has a heated seat. I know this one does because I'm looking at the switch.
You see, we do have the console in here, which is really handy. This one, we didn't mention it, we were on the back side. This one does have a backup camera on it, which isn't necessarily for you to see behind you, but the way it's positioned is to see down at your 3-point so you can hook up more easily without
man.
having to turn around or have somebody guide you. You could see it right here.
Wow.
And then Mike played a little bit and found out there's a USB port in here, and you can actually plug your phone and stream Netflix if you want. You can watch a movie while you're cutting your rows.
You can indeed. So the camera, if you were doing, if you're pulling an 8-foot box scraper, you no more twisting your neck to see if it's full. It's right there.
Yep, absolutely.
Man, that's awesome.
This one, they've done a big upgrade on the transmission. It's a 32 by 32 transmission. The way they get it is a little different. So you have a high and low range now, and it's actually 8 speeds per range. There's a little A button on the side here, and also on the side of your console. These things now have an automatic mode to where if you press and hold that and you start in first gear, it automatically ascends through the gears as you're working or running down the road, and it will also downshift for you as well.
We've both driven it. It works. It works flawlessly. It's cool. It is an automatic transmission, or of course you can drive it manual as well.
Yep.
But yeah.
You still have the ability to do the manual selection if you want, but
And
there's
then
no more clutching.
So that's 16, and then by the time you use the creeper, if you did, it splits it again, so it's 32. So is there 32 usable gears? Well, yeah, but really, there's 16 on the creep side.
Say creep came in very handy. I'm not a commercial farmer. I don't typically know what you would use creep for. Honestly, the biggest thing I found helpful with the creep gear was taking off and putting this loader on.
I saw you do that. I sold an RX to a local tobacco farmer, and he knew that in first gear creep, it would pull the tobacco wagon at the same speed that the cutter guys out in the field would cut the tobacco leaves and chuck them on the trailer. So he said it's a perfect match.
There you go. We still have pretty much all the similar features over here. 3 standard remotes, optional 4th. All your controls are up here. No B-pillar on the passenger side, just like the 90 and the 115. You do have, didn't mention it on the 115 or the 90, you do have this little access panel here for you hay farmers if you need to pull extra controls, wires into your cab. No more propping the window open, drilling a hole in the chassis. They thought about that.
You showed me the combination moonroof cover and visor, which is kind of cool. Just depending on where you put the linkage right there.
Yep,
right now it's in visor mode.
You can keep it up. If you just want to shield
Or you can roll it
your
back.
sunroof, you can put it all the way back, or you could pull it down and block a little bit of sun for yourself.
Yeah, you could just tell people thought through stuff. The engineers thought through stuff. You were telling me, I know we all talk about, we'll wear people out when we talk about keeping the radiators and the fins clear of debris. So did they think of that?
They did in multiple ways. I know it's a pain in the butt on any small tractor to try to clean out every single little cooler you have on here. They thought of that. Don't just have individual screens for different sections, but now you have the accessibility.
Oh, check it out.
To get into
and it still
everything.
Slide out spring.
And you still have that screen. The radiator itself has some pop-out tabs, and you have access to the split screen for the radiator. If you're worried about things popping in between, there is an overlap in that screen as well.
Wow.
So debris won't get in.
Okay.
Even having the hood open now, you can see too, we didn't really mention it. Yes, it's obviously turbocharged. These ones do actually have an air-to-air intercooler to give you optimum performance with that.
Yeah, 3.8 liter, they all are, whether it's 90 horsepower or 140 horsepower. As I said, they're essentially the same. 3.8 liter inline 4, and it's turbocharged and intercooled.
It is. And I know I was even circling this unit with Mike earlier, and we were talking about just how easy it seemed to access everything. For you guys who like to do your own maintenance, which I'm all about, it's very easy to. Your fill port actually goes right into the pan. It's down low, so you're not having to hold up 3-4 gallon jugs and dump your oil in. Your dipstick's right here. These panels do come off with just a couple bolts to give you access to your fuel filter. You can drain your water, inspect your belts, whatever you need. I mean, they've jammed a lot into this engine bay, but it's fairly accessible, which you can't say about a lot of modern engines.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh, look at that. It's got fleet guard. So when Coyote doesn't build something themselves, you can assure yourself they use the best.
They do.
Fleet guard filter systems, well, that's as good as it gets.
I mean, even with those, injectors are made by Delphi. They make injectors for everybody. Glow plugs are made by Bosch. A lot of the electronics are Honeywell.
They don't take the lowest bid.
They don't. They really do take pride in what
we
they
sold
do.
a brand that I'm not going to mention them,
No.
but we tried a brand that seemed to always take the lowest bid. This is not that.
Definitely is not. They take pride in what they do. They do the R&D, and you could see the finished product. It pays off. I'd feel great about owning one of these and doing my hay work with it, or whatever other work you have to do with 140 horses.
I know when they announced they're going to make a particular product, we're all excited about it, whether it's this or a diesel mower or whatever. Then we wait. But by the time they build them and they're on the ground, it's another 18 to 24 months of intense testing before we ever get to get our hands on it, and then thus you get your hands on it. But you know what? They're ready and they're right.
They are, and it's funny that you mentioned that to me, because I remember the day we got our first 140 in. We were getting calls for 6 to 8 months. The word was on the street. Everybody was wondering when you were going to get the 140 horsepower. Mike wasn't in that day, and I did a brief overview video on it because everybody was so excited to see one, as was I.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mike was too. But they're here.
Yeah, and the people that have bought them have just raved about them. And there are a lot of things, but you know what they're not? They're not $125,000. They're every bit on par with any brand you can think of, with the ergonomics, with the performance, the capabilities, but they're not priced like that. So put it on your list of tractors to check out. If you've got row work, or you want to run a 15 or a 20-foot cutter, you do a lot of hay, you need to put this on the list of tractors to consider. Really.
Absolutely.
Well, we want to tell you more about these, so please contact us. You can email us at sales@lsetractor.com. If you want to talk to Jake, just put service@lsetractor.com, or Jake at, I'm Mike at, he's Jake at, sales at, service at, parts at. You get the idea. But ask questions, ask a lot of questions, and we'd like to tell you more about them. Give us a call at 615-956-0334, 615-956-0334, and let's talk HX tractors.
Or better yet, if you're in the area, come check one out for yourself.
You need to drive one. You need to drive it. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.